Hey guys, welcome back to the Mazda Cosmo 110S series. Now we bought this car sight unseen because of what it is. Now it's one of 1,100 ever made. It's Mazda's first rotary powered car and it's like the grandfather of all rotaries. Now at the end of 2024 we set our sights in 4 weeks to try and restore this car as much as possible to go to Autosport International, which was in January. Now we managed to make it. We refabricated just about everything from here downwards. I'm talking floor pans, inner sills, outer sills, bulkhead, you name it, we've done it on this car. Now we've got a playlist on our YouTube channel of many episodes of the restoration of this project, but as you can see it's not quite done. We've still got the bonnet that needs refabricating because the front is and the underside is done. We've got the doors to do, but we put these on for the show to show what it used to look like and what it looks like now. Now we've still got a long road ahead of us to get this restored, but we need to get on with the engine. And on the previous episode, which I'll leave a link in the description, we tried to get the engine in and there was a big, huge mistake that we made. So enjoy the video and then we'll get back to the engine in just a second. So as mentioned in the previous episode, we're actually going for a 13B rotary engine. Now this comes from the RX7 FD. Now before that, we need to make a converter plate and an exhaust manifold plate. And that's where the SwiftCut Pro comes in. Now a big thanks goes out to SwiftCut for supplying and installing this machine. It's an absolute beast. Go check them out, go look at their website, go look at their YouTube channel as well, because I've got videos on how to do things on the YouTube channel. So now we can come on to here. We've got Solid Edge, SwiftCam and the Swift CNC. So we've got 3 programs that are preloaded into this machine. We need to make one of these but thicker out of this thick sheet steel down here. So we need to put it into the Solid Edge, design it in that software, and then we can convert it into the SwiftCam and then convert it into the Swift CNC. The Swift CNC is basically what controls this SwiftCut CNC machine. So we need to take some measurements of this, we need to design it on the Solid Edge, and then we can get it cut out on the SwiftCut. I am Batman. We've designed this on here, as you can see, fits absolutely perfectly. So I'm not going to put it on the screen because I don't want to damage it and it's touchscreen. Anyway, we've designed it on the Solid Edge 2D drafting software. Now we can convert it into the SwiftCam and then into the SwiftCut machine itself. So I'm going to do that right now. So now we've ran it through into the SwiftCut program itself. You can see all of this here. You can see its cut path as well, and you can see just everything that you need to see on here. You can even move the machine if you need to, just like this. And that's all from the keys here, so you can basically just control the whole machine from this. So now I need to place this steel on here. I need to get it referenced so the machine knows exactly where the steel is, and then we can set it cutting, and then bada bing bada boom, we've got one of these but thicker. And there you have it, as simple as that. You can see everything's lined up perfectly. We did make this centre hole slightly smaller, but literally everything lines up perfectly. There you go. All the edges are nicely beveled, and it's an amazing bit of kit. So do check out Swiftcut. A big thanks goes out to Swiftcut for supplying and installing this machine. And literally, we cut that out in maybe 3 minutes. That's all it took to cut it out. And it took me, a bit of time to design it, get into the software. Bada bing, bada boom, done. Thanks Swiftcut. Visit them in the description. Let's get this onto the engine. So now that's the exhaust manifold plate done, we now need to do the converter plate.
Since we're putting a 13B engine in this car, the ports are different from the original engine. And what we're doing, if I bob over here, it's going to go on twin IDA 48s. So this was the original manifold, and this went to a set of turbos, an injection system. This is what we're actually going for, old school carburetors, big 48s. So the problem is this, the only one we've got, we may change this out if it doesn't flow enough, but for now we're going to carry on using this. This is off an early 13B engine, and what Ryan's done is Ryan's made so the bolt holes are in different places and the portings are different size. So Ryan's made this transition plate, because the bolt holes are in the wrong place, that'll basically, and I've popped some studs in there, welded them in from the back. This will basically go onto the engine like so and give us enough space, or put that on there, so we can mount that on. So this bolts to the engine, this bolts to this. Right, now the issue we do have, I can get that on there, give me a minute. Stuck. The tolerances are very tight. As you can see here, the ports are a different size. This is the bigger port on the 13B, and this is the later 13B off of like a RX7 FD, and this is the ports. As you can see, they are smaller. So we're actually opening up the ports, as you can see there in this one. All it is so when we get the air flowing through it, it's a smoother transition. And if you look at that, that's the first one, and that's the ported one. And we're going to do that for all four. That'll give us a nice clean airflow. That'll let us put the transition plate onto the 13B turbo engine, but we're not going to turbo it. Then we can put this earlier 13B manifold on, and then we could pop us carburetors on. What a beast.
So this is the original engine to the car. Now we are going to restore this in time. So here is the engine that we're going to transplant into the Mazda Cosmo. Now this is my dad's RX7 FD engine. It's very dusty because it's been rebuilt a couple of years ago, but all the internals are still good. We just need to give it a quick blow off and we're good to go. I'm running this car on IDA 48 carbs, so we do need to change this front plate. Now this here is the front plate off an earlier 13B engine, and this has actually got the manual distributor. Now that's done, we can move on to the engine and gearbox. So here you can see us blocking up the engine, so it gives us better access to install the gearbox. That we slid the engine underneath the car, we can then use our small engine hoist to pull it up and try and get it into that engine compartment. This is where it all went horribly wrong. Now if you look underneath this crusty bonnet, you'll actually see that apart from some like dirt and stuff, this is actually 100% restored except for the steering rack, the steering rod, and then, you know, a little bit of wiring. But we did try and shoehorn the 13B Mazda RX7 FD engine into here. Now the issue that we had was the engine was actually hitting this bar on the front here, which was not good. So once we did get the engine in, it was also hitting the transmission tunnel. So to actually make the 13B engine work, we'd have to cut that bar, and we'd end up having to cut the transmission tunnel as well, which I didn't want to do. So that leads us to change the whole entire build of this car. So we didn't have a 13B, we'd have to put something else in. Now this car came with a 10A engine originally, with either a 4-speed or a 5-speed gearbox, depending on the year. Now, I think what we're going to do is go with a 12A engine, which is an upgrade from the 10A, which is the original, but it's not quite as big and beefy as the 13B. And the 12A should fit in this car. Now, with that slight minor issue with the engine aside, we still did take this to Autosport International, which was the main goal, to get it painted, to get it back on its running gear, and to take it to the show. Now, obviously, we've still got to get the engine sorted, we've still got to powder coat the running gear, we've still got to get bushings in this car, we've still got to do the interior, the dashboard, still got to find some parts for it as well. There's loads of stuff that we need to do to this car, but we had our mind set on taking this to Autosport. Now, just imagine this, right? Us driving this car, shooting flames into Autosport. That was the vision, to try and get this car rolling under its own power. Now, we were on track until we did come across that issue with the engine. Now, with that side, we still managed to make it, which is, you know, it's still a massive achievement in itself to restore this car in just 4 weeks from what it used to be and to what it is now.
What you can really see is the transformation you guys have done and the quality of build you guys have done.
It's been absolutely mental. We've actually done most of this over the past 4 weeks. You know, sleepless nights trying to get this done. And everything that you see on the floor there, we've actually fabricated by hand.
Even though we didn't manage to drive this into the show, let's not forget how far we've actually come with this car. Now, this box is filled with old Cosmo parts. Now you can see there how rusty it is. You can see the old paint on there. You can see the rusty bits, all the bits that we've actually refabricated, chassis rails, floor pans, front sections, you know, even little bits like this. Everything in here has been refabricated by hand using basic tools. Now, if you're ever faced with an absolute impossible task with restoring a car, just break it down into sections. Don't look at the car as a rusty mess like this used to be. Break it down into, I'll do this section first, then I'll do the sill, then I'll do that, and then eventually you work all the way around the car, and your panels start building up and building up and building up, and then you get something that looks like a car again. Now, as I say, we've still got a long way to go with this car. We've got all of this to sort out. We've got the doors to do. We've got the boot to do. We've got the engine to sort out. We've got all the running gear to do. And the seats and the interior and everything. But it's one step closer to getting this car back on the road. And I cannot wait to actually drive this for the first time. Now, don't forget, Yorkshire Car Restoration, Cars and Coffee, our first event that's being held at the Black Bull Inn in Hatfield, Doncaster. It's on the 4th of May. Do get your tickets. I'll leave a link in the description to get a ticket. That's just so we can account for the amount of cars. The tickets are actually free. And yeah, you will be seeing the Mazda Cosmo. If you've not seen it in person at Autosport, you will see it at Cars and Coffee at that event. Not sure what sort of condition it's going to be in, but you will see this car at the event. Do get your tickets. Get us on social media, Instagram, Facebook and TikTok as well. Make sure that you like and subscribe because they are all free. And we'll catch you in the next Mazda Cosmo video.